then we'll begin. Okay, so now I'll just check my channel and just make sure that...
I see yours is up there too.
All right, perfect. I'll just confirm on my own end, and then we'll begin. Mine, you can see my excellent artwork. I'm so basic at it, I actually have to... I don't know how... Okay, so I see that I'm on. I don't know how on Streamlabs to choose what's in the forefront, what's in the background when you're setting up the different windows within the stream.
All right.
So I have to like put it in order. You know what I mean? Like I'll put it up and I'll be like, oh no, I want that in the background. So then I'll have to take it off and re-add it so that it's in the... Yeah.
But it didn't work out so well with me. And I'm like, oh well, I guess I'll leave it for another day. I'm sure it's not gonna be the last time or the first time that I streamed.
Yeah. Okay, so let's just start, right? So it looks like I got 8 viewers. So just pull up my notes here that I wanted to talk about with you. So why is it not coming up? There we are. Okay, so anyone out there, welcome to Gaming with Genghis. Thanks for joining. We are also live streaming on another YouTuber's channel. Am I pronouncing it right? Shinigami?
Yep.
All right, so Shinigami, he is on server 371, and he is quite a large player on that server. You could tell us about that. And is this your first server, 371?
No, actually, my first server was S19. I joined that back in, what was it, probably October or November 2016. That's about the time I think Evony Mobile came out in July or so. And it was by complete accident. So I was playing Age 1 and Age 2. Those Age 2 was horrible. I left Age 1 for Age 2. Age 2 was really boring after a while, just because they introduced like the subordinate city system where you can make another player city your subordinate city and take their resources and troops and everything.
You mean the colonizing?
Colonizing, yeah, exactly, the colony.
Yeah, so I had a similar journey, and I went Age 1. I played it forever, and then I moved overseas to the Middle East, and then they restricted access at work. Like I guess they figured out like, hey, it was a game, this guy's playing it at work, and they cut it.
That's a very common thing, you know.
And then I just had too many. I had too many like windows through the day where I couldn't be online to defend my city, so I just sold my account and left. And then I tried Age 2, and I didn't like the colonizing. But anyways, so what made you start over on 371?
So, as you know, Age 1 was unplayable unless you had bots running, so I had bots running. I think I had a bot playing the game for me for 4 months, and I never bothered to turn off the bot. And I completely forgot about the game. And then I just basically packed up my Age 1 and moved into Age 2. And then same thing with Age 2. You have a bot playing the game for you. So the bot kept playing, and I'm like, okay, I think I need to run the bot for this many days and this many days to get this done. I'll check back later, and one day I just never checked back on the game.
Yeah, so on Age 1, I also botted, and then I'd get suspended. And they'd cut my act, and I argued with them. I'm like, no one joined a war game to get food for their troops. Like, you should charge people money, let them use the bot, make it part of the game. And
I know, it was crippling. The food stuff was crippling in each one.
Yeah. But so, anyways, what made you quit 19 and go to 371?
Wait, one more step. So one day I logged into H2, and it says like Evony Mobile is now like it's an ongoing announcement that doesn't go away. Is now live and yada yada. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Finally, I don't have to be on my computer to play. So I went in and downloaded it immediately. First impression, I was completely disappointed because it's a completely different game. But I played it anyway. I didn't know that there were like 100 servers and they were going to keep opening new servers. I just picked it up. Back then, max keep was 25. It was so much fun, so much things to learn. A lot of like OG players from age 1 and age 2. The first 2 weeks were completely insane. I saw a guy drop like 3 grand to get to K25 and conquer the throne, and then some other guy came, and he did conquer the throne, and then some other guy came and like spent like even more money than that, and built a 300, 400 million keep in like a couple of days, and zeroed every player on the server, all the big players on the server.
Because they were playing without bubbles, or there was no bubbles then?
There was bubbles, I think. No, there was bubbles. But if you're the biggest guy on the server, you're not gonna really want to bubble, or you're gonna want to challenge people to hit you.
So then you quit 19?
I quit 19 about August of the following year, I think. I didn't really quit, I just faded out and didn't play it.
So could you log in now if you wanted?
Stuff come out. I can still log in. I think it's keep 29 or keep 31 or something. So what happened is I quit in 2017, and I had some life stuff come up, and I completely forgot about Evony. The following year, 2018, I logged in around. It's always around Christmas. That's my Evony time for some reason. I logged in. And I went back, I'm like, hey guys, I'm back again, hopefully I'm going to stay longer, blah, blah, blah. And guess what? K35 is out. The first time when I left, it was already K30. That had just come out, it was like K26 or 27, whatever. I came back the next time, and it was K35 had just come out. like not even a month before that. So, or at least that's how I remember it. So I stayed there for a little bit, and I'm like, man, all those guys are so big now. Like, all the guys I used to play with. I was zeroed, of course, so I was like 20 mil power or something. I built it back to like 40, 50, but everybody was like over 200, 300 at that point. And so I'm like, okay, I don't think this works out. And then I closed it out again. And then comes November or September 2019, and I'm like, all right, I want to play Evony, and I go in and everybody's using it. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going back there. And then I saw how many servers there are, and I'm like, cool, let me try to pick the latest server. And I think 371 was the newest server. I wanted to play on 370, but I ended up clicking 371. It's just the one bothered me. So I started on 371. And I basically tried to, do a quick rush to 35.
Yeah, so I had like 10, 12 years in between age 1 and playing mobile at this one. And then I also started, but I didn't know there were so many servers. I wish if I went back in time, I would, because I started this server maybe 2 or 3 months late, I would have just said, why don't I, like once I realized the game and play for a little bit and then just join again. Yeah, because you're so far behind, and that 2 months is so crucial. But anyways, what differences do you notice between the old, like C1, and now you're what, C3?
We're C3 now, we're C2, unfortunately. They moved us back real quick to C2.
So do you notice much difference in gameplay or server-wise, or...
Oh yeah, C1, most of the servers are bubble or burn. Like, they don't have naps or anything like that. Most of the C1 servers are bubble or burn. They farm each other all week long, KE or no KE. The player base is different, age-wise, experience-wise. The first, like, I want to say 70 or 50 servers, most of the players were either new players back then, or they migrated from Evony Age 1 and Age 2, because that's where the most player base came from. Until, like, during the Super Bowl in 2017, Evony was playing ads, Super Bowl ads.
Oh yeah, I remember Clash of Clans ads.
Yeah, no, Evony actually had like with actors, like big time actors in the ads, and that's where they experienced like a significant bump and in players. And then around the time I played was where COVID was about around the corner, and then people just started coming in like it was nothing. Like everybody was downloading Evony.
Yeah, and there's like a new server every 2 days. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not. Is it 900 now?
What was that?
I think it's 900 now.
I think it was 955 yesterday.
Okay, wow.
Yeah. And like 4 days ago it was 915.
Yeah.
Not even 3 days ago. Yeah. Because I was trying to see they were talking about those new servers getting like new discounts and
yeah, so I want to talk about we could just talk about that stuff now. I had that written down to talk about after. So two things. So one, all these new servers that they're getting, like they obviously have to merge them. What do you think of the new secret merges they've been doing? Where it used to, for anyone listening who doesn't know, in the past, every single player in Evony would get an email, an announcement, and it would list like the 40 servers that are merging this time. And now only those servers merging are getting them and no one knows about them. So what do you think of that? Why? Like, why are they doing this?
I'm not sure, but I think the main purpose is probably players complaining about not being merged, and there's a lot of that going on.
Yeah, I think so too. Like I know my old server before we merged, tons and tons of people were like begging every day to get merged. So maybe if people just don't know there's merges.
Yeah. They thought that might be better because I know the time they send that email, everybody bombards them with like support tickets and emails and on their Facebook page, going about like how they should just help everybody merge and stuff like that.
Yeah, so
merge my server. People change their server names to merge my server.
Yeah, I don't think Evony reads that. So second part of that question was, what do you think of different servers, new servers? For anyone who doesn't know, lots of new servers and continents are getting different purchase packs than the old servers. So for example, me on Continent 1, I'll get tons of messages from people who play Continent 3 or 4, and they'll be like, whoa, look at the stuff we can buy. If I spend $14, I get all this stuff, and it's like an 85,000% pack, where mine, if I spend $4.99, I get 20% bonus. We don't have double coupons. People finally complained so much. Now we get double coupons just like the other servers, but that sort of stuff. What do you think of that?
I just don't see where they're going with it. I mean, is it gonna always be like that? Are they gonna have like those permanent double downs and the 85,000%? Is it gonna be a permanent thing for those servers? That's just my question. Or are they just giving them a head start on us, and then they slowly gonna roll it back to us as well as the playing field levels? Because I mean, the only reason they would give the new players any incentives is just to help them or give them hope that one day they can compete with the older players.
So do you agree with it, that they should get them or no?
I agree that they should get it for like a limited amount of time, not like permanently. Or if they get it, we should get it too.
Yeah, so I kind of think the same. Like, I think Evony has a scale. Like, you're new for this many days, you get a lot of bonuses to catch up, and then you move into like C3 or C2, and then you don't get them anymore. But those double downs are permanent, I think. Like we've got them nonstop now for 2 months. I think that, like, how could they pull that back? No one's going to spend money anymore if they take them away. And then the other thing, I've seen images of new servers that have permanent double down, so that even if these are permanent, like I can't use any today, right? Because it's a non-event day. They have them so they could use them on non-event days and buy these big resource packs.
Right, exactly. And I think I saw those images you're talking about, and it was saying like during event time. So I don't know if it's a limited time event or if it's like a 30-day event or 2-week event. haven't investigated that, but that's a part of why I went to those servers and like started like alts and wanted to see.
Yeah.
I didn't build those alts too high, and I didn't actually buy any packs, but I saw all the offers they had going on, and it looked pretty much the same as ours. So I'm not really sure how like people are triggering those.
Yeah, so Evony started these double downs. They started these double downs probably about a year and a half ago, maybe, on my server C2 before we merged. They started to give 2 double downs. So you had one that lasted your first week, and then one that lasted unlimited, but you could use it once. So people, including myself, started to create alts just to get the double downs, and then you'd bring it up to the max resource pack and use it, and then loot the alt.
I remember that. Yeah, with the new like your first purchase, basically the double down. Yeah, those have been around for a while.
Yeah, so guy in my comments, Soju, just said they need to update the Epic Historic General package. Yeah, that's something that is a big annoyance to me. I actually I will never get that pack because it's just so much of the value in that final pack is random on a general. It's like you can win one of these 5 maybe, or these 35 crap ones that we consider epic that aren't.
Right, and also the epic tokens, I think they keep getting a lot of feedback about it. So what they do is, you would think, like for example, they had like Simeon come out, Alfred, Scipio, and those cool guys that we all got last year. Now they're rolling in like Gnar, those
Elise,
like Ramsey the Second, Elise. So you would think when those new guys come out, you would end up getting like Scipio, Simeon, Alfred, and all that. But no, you get Shajar.
Yeah, like I can't tell you how many times I've got Arminus. I get Arminus all the time. Yeah, well, the new Alexander the Great's actually okay because he has the rally buff. But
he does, yeah.
But yeah, the old one, Seculus, I've got him. But what I do with those, so advice for anyone, I learned this actually from a friend on the server. Save them all up until an event comes where there's a general you want, and then you open them then.
True, yes.
That's what I did. So I was waiting forever. I had Trajan, and I wanted Scipio or a new ground general, and then Elise came out, so I just started opening them that event, and then on the 4th one, I got her. And then I stopped and started saving.
This is gonna mess you up, but I think around Christmas or the 5th year anniversary thing, one of those 2 events, I bought a whole bunch of packs. I had 4 Scipios and 2 Elise, like back to back.
Nice. So for anyone out there listening, so for anyone out there who listening, maybe you do or don't know. Some people might be listening just for us to talk about this. So there's a developer call that happens. Is it every 6 months or once a year?
So supposedly it's every 3 months.
Okay, so I don't think it's that often. Maybe they pretend it is, but I think it's once a year that I know of.
The last time there was a dev call was in November, apparently, or October.
I've heard of other ones. Like, for example, there's this guy on my server, War, one of the top players. Lots of people silently watching probably love me saying that. Anyways, he says that he gets into some of these calls that I never see anything about or anything, but maybe there was one in November. He was talking about one then before. Anyways, let's get back to where I was going with this. You were fortunate enough to be in the developer call. Do you know how many people were in it with you?
Oh, so basically, I think there were supposed to be 50 people, but only by the time I joined, I think I joined 5-10 minutes in, and I think when I joined, there was only 13 or 17 people on the call.
Yeah, so I watched it on another player's Colt on Twitch. He streams it all the time, and you could just see the names at the top of his. So if someone talked, you saw a different name, and you could kind of see them scroll across. It didn't look like there was that many people, like somewhere in the teens, like 15 or something. It looked like.
Yeah, it was. I think it was 17. I don't know if anybody joined late after I joined, But I'm pretty sure it was in the teens, yeah, like you said. It wasn't a lot of people, but so to piggyback on the other question, how did you get into the call?
Yeah, so I was going to ask that. How did you get in? And how did they inform you that you got in?
So I joined the group. Like I showed you that email they sent me. I thought it was like one of those like random things that Evony sends, like a survey or something. Turns out no, it's an invitation to a group. I'm like, what is this? So I went in. And when you join, it will ask you for your player ID to make sure you actually got an invite to join this group. I got it, and first thing I saw was a post about Q&A, and there's gonna be like a call, and only 50 people will be picked randomly. And if you want to be in the call, just comment down below and tell us, and you'll be considered, something like that. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I just put, I want to be on the call, and like a hand raised emoji next to it, and that's it.
And then they send you a message in game, and it says,
nope. I got a Facebook message from the moderator with a meeting link, a Zoom meeting specifically. And then I clicked it, and I just got in. And to answer your question,
so sorry. Before you go on, did you got a Zoom link like that minute? There was no like 2-day notice or anything.
Exactly.
Okay. So people might be working or different time zones.
Right. They told us when it's gonna be. They didn't exactly specify the time, as I remember, and. They send you the link like 10 minutes before the call or something like that.
Yeah, so that kind of eliminates some of my next questions I had for you. So one of them was going to be, do you make notes beforehand and talk with maybe people in your alliance and be like, hey, what should I talk about? That sort of stuff. But obviously you can't, right?
I did not know what to expect because I got into the group on the 2nd and the call was on the 4th of January.
So you did know 2 days before?
Was that?
So you knew 2 days before you were going to go in?
I knew 2 days. No, I didn't know I was going to go in until the call actually happened. And they sent me the actually, I can look at it right now.
So you signed up 2 days before, but then 10 minutes before you found out.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I completely had forgotten about the call because I actually, like, that same week, I caught COVID. And I was like struggling through that in quarantining.
And that's when you started your YouTube channel, you told me, right?
Yep.
Yeah, nice. Got some time at home. Yeah, so while you look that up, I was going to say, actually, I think this is actually one of the injustices of the call that Evony does is they should actually announce before these 20 people are coming in, and then those people could kind of talk amongst themselves and say, hey, let's talk about this or that sort of stuff, right? And you can make notes and decide what to talk about, but there isn't, and then people just go in and kind of wing it, and people get off track, people talk about the same stuff, and you don't get across the important point. Even maybe Evony developers want that. They don't want to hear, right?
Probably, I think they actually want to hear feedback. I heard somebody say that this group had only 300 players up to like 300 members up to like October, and then in the last 2 months, there's like 600 to 700 more people that joined. So I'm guessing, I'm like, okay, maybe they're not satisfied with the feedback they're receiving from those few members they have, so they want to put in more people to get more versatile.
Or maybe people didn't know what the link was, like you said. So you showed me what they sent you, and I was like, oh yeah, I got that exact same thing, but I just trashed it because I thought it was the regular Facebook group that they had. Like when they say, go to Facebook and like this.
Yeah,
you'll get 100 gems. That's what I thought it was, so I never did it. But yesterday I applied and wrote my number down, but haven't been approved yet. They probably don't even monitor it now because the stream's over or the call's over until whatever.
Yeah, they're not heavy on monitoring it. But yes, you see, Elena sent me that's the moderator. She sent me the invites at 8:06.
And then
So
it
I
started
think the
at
call was at 9. I think the
okay,
call
so an
was at
hour,
9.
but still, like you don't know all the people who are getting it. So people, people could have a group, which actually brings me to another issue I have with Evony. Yeah, but how about this? Like Evony, so they made $39 million the month they dropped K40. If all the money they're making, one of the real flaws in Evony is that
How did you get those numbers?
you can find them on Google.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's because they have the company that owns Evony, like Metaverse owns Facebook or vice versa, or Google and Alphabet, right? The company that owns them is a publicly traded company, so it's available.
Oh, really? I want to buy their stock.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Like they make a killing. Anyways,
They'll never lose money, always in profit.
Yeah. Anyways, one of the big injustices of the game of Evony is with all the money they make, why do we have to use outside apps for voice communication and things like that? Why can't we get in Battlefield and there's already a mic on the thing? And then when you live stream All Stars, like I live stream All Stars, it's a garbage thing for the audience. I always say to other people, the way that Evony would really improve it is like poker used to suck to watch until you could see the whole cards, right? You could see those two cards. They figured that out.
Right,
so if Evony had their own microphone system, maybe you let the live stream audience listen to that and you could hear people planning the attacks and talking. They don't want to listen to me just show the rally feed and try to rush to the keep and see who's getting hit. But I wish Evony would invest a little bit more in that sort of stuff in the game for communication.
Or like just make it like a thing to stream. They can partner with like Twitch or YouTube or whoever and create a certain platform using one of those companies. And where you can see, for example, you can see the chats from both teams on either side of the screen.
Yeah, so one of the things I wanted to talk to you about was like the future of the game and how you see it going. So I kind of started that with how I think their microphone system should go. But where you say they should partner with YouTube and stuff, to build on that, another thing I would like them to do is for All Stars, offer cash prizes to people. Like you have people who are paying $100,000 a year to play your game. Just throw them back like $500 if they win All Stars, or $1,000, or you qualify for All Stars. Here's a free 99 pack or $100, something like that.
I think they would only do that if the game starts lacking in competitiveness. But people are already competitive. Like they want to get that dragon or they want to get that new castle. I think they would only do that to like increase people's spending, but people already spend like a shit ton of money.
So here's a similar story. So Clash of Clans used to make $10 million a day.
Wow.
And this was about 4 years ago. And then they started to go downhill for a little bit. And then they started to create these sort of like non-affiliated YouTube leagues where people would make like their own war and you'd challenge people, alliances. And then Clash of Clans took it over and was like, let's make our own tournaments. And now they offer big cash prizes to their players.
Exactly. So Evony would have to go downhill before it goes uphill again.
Yeah, maybe.
To be honest, Evony was dead the first 2 years it came out. Like, I can tell you my experience on server 19, there were no events. There was like...
Yeah, there was no Vikings or anything, right?
Once a month, there's a 7-day event, or once every 2 months.
Yeah, I heard old players had to chase goblins around the map for gold because there was no Vikings.
Oh yeah, goblins were my favorite back then. That's how I thought, oh my god, there's no knights, there's no Vikings, there's no hydras, there's nothing. The highest boss was like B10, that was it.
Yeah. Well, I remember, and then, so when I started on 136, that was the first server that they opened in about a year, I think. And that's why our server became very, very good, because there was all these players waiting for a new server for a fresh start. But I remember they still had that old mentality where it's like, get to K25, K25, the game begins at K25. So like I said, I started 2 months late. I got to K25 and I'm like, yo, I'm getting whooped by everybody still. Like K25 ain't nothing. I can barely kill a B10.
Yeah.
So where else do you see the game going in the future? Or like things you'd like to see if you got in the developer call and talked again?
And I think like the feedback from the call was concise and it wasn't explained. And I think the representative, which is not a developer, she just relays information.
Alina, is that her name?
Elena?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Yeah, she barely spoke during the call. She was just taking notes. And we were basically talking amongst ourselves. Because the problem is there is a disconnect between continents and players. I mean, imagine you're a player who's been playing since like late 2016 or early 2017 on a C1 server. You're waiting for updates. I started last year, September. September 20, well, it's almost like, oh, sorry, I did say 19, I think I meant 20. I actually started September 2020, not 2019. So I started September 2019, and I was just trying to catch up and get to K35. I just hit K35 and started building my T4Ts and getting there, and now they released K40. But if you compare that to somebody who's been playing for years, and they just, like, you can see it now, they're doing it with K40. Everybody in C1 is, like, already K38, 39. They're rushing it so fast.
Yeah, so I would say, because I'm on C1, that it's kind of humorous to watch. So there's a lot of people who got to K35 over 5 years but didn't spend any money, right? So they were like K35 and they got to a point where they're kind of equal with the people who spent $100,000 because they just had 5 billion power but didn't eventually you just max out tech like everybody.
Right.
And then you're kind of equal.
Example.
And now there's this huge gap where all these people who, if you choose to spend money now, can now have this massive leap over these entry-level K35s who don't have anything, right? Now they're furious about it because now they have to spend or they can never get to K36.
Exactly, and the fault lies on the ones who did spend a shit ton of money and got too big, basically. The issue is you can spend so much money or you can get more for your packs. Truth is, the update that came to the what was it, Advanced Military Research?
Yeah, Military Academy.
Yeah, no, not the Military Academy, the Advanced Military Research in the Academy, in the K35.
Oh, the science research they put out just before the K40, yeah.
I can assure you everybody maxed that out in C1, like the month it came out.
Oh, the day, did you hear about the glitch that day?
No. I had the glitch by the way, but no, that was when K40 came out. What I'm talking about is they have tons of research stones. They have tons of gold. They have the speed ups. So the minute the research comes out, they just click, maxed it out.
Yeah, but did you hear the glitch where you didn't have to use speed ups?
No.
So the day it came out for a few hours, all you had to do was click research, click help, reload the game, and it was finished.
Wow.
And this lasted for a few hours, and then that's it. They cut it out, but they never, usually when this happens, they do some sort of rollback and take away everyone's science, but they did not. They just left it.
Wow. I did not hear about that.
Yeah, so you still needed the gold and research stones, but...
Beyond that, the point I'm getting at is for somebody who's been trying to catch up, I still haven't completed all of my research. And I call it a lot. I'm almost VIP 18. But I still did not finish my research. I did not finish my subs. I did not finish the specialties on my generals. I think I have one done.
Oh, specialties are hard.
Yeah, like I mean those weren't out for too long, but still for somebody who's been playing and killing Vikings every day, all that gold, all the research stones, the materials you get, like money can buy that, but that's a lot of money. A lot of those players got those for free by just playing every day and putting time.
Yeah,
So
I
a
like
lot
to
of
look at people's
compensation there.
power and their
Yeah,
battles that they've done and see.
exactly. And a part of why they would want to compensate new players and give them more is because they can never give them 4 years of playtime to make up for all this progress they're missing on. So they have to inflate it. And I think the packages will keep getting inflated. Evony will add K45 and K50 and 55 and 60. I don't know how long the rollout is going to be, maybe every 6 months, every year, but they're going to keep doing it because I played a lot of games just to see how other games go. Because if you open the App Store, you'll see so many games that look exactly like Ebony, same concept. And if you download one of the ones that were launched before Ebony, you'll see that the game is like has like K90 or K120. You spend $5, you get like billions
Yeah,
of
okay, so
energy.
a few things on that. So, one of the
Yeah,
things that people on C1 get furious about with the new packs being better on earlier things, I think, this is just my assumption, but I think, like
yeah,
you said, they have 4 years and you can't expect people to grind like that to catch up. But the C1 people want to, and it's not the coiners, it's not the big coiners, it's the people who don't spend money. They put in 4 years of grinding and they want to keep that lead they have on everybody. Right? They don't want these people to have it easy and catch them, which I understand. But I also see
right.
Evony can never merge servers if they don't make it easy for other people. And in terms of the same games, I've played other games that are the exact same. Evony is cheap, like financially. Like they make a lot of
Yeah,
money, but you go buy a pack on another game, you get nothing.
yeah, yeah. Well, it depends on what game. Some games actually give you a lot of advantage. Like they can give you a lifetime boost of some sort for like $5,
Yeah,
and this
but
is
in
like
terms of
something you keep
actually speed
forever.
ups or resources, like they're limited what you can buy. One of them will be really easy, and then the other one will be really expensive. So it'll lure you in, and you'll have so many resources, and you can't use them.
Yep, yep, yeah.
So
I don't know. I agree 100%. And again, um, they have to like if somebody who starts Ebony today and puts in 4 years of work, they're gonna get to K35 or K40. But by 4 years from now, there's gonna be K60 probably.
So
You know what I
I
mean?
disagree
You're
with
always
you
gonna
on
be
that. I
behind.
think that Evany's already working on like the next generation, and like
Hmm.
in a few years they'll drop it like they did with Age Two, and then Age One kind of just became like people still played. They didn't want to give up their account, but eventually it just becomes a dead server and you migrate over. I just hope that they do something, and I know they won't. The answer to this is no, but I hope that all the
Oh, they
like
have a lot of work to do.
I
I
hope that
think
you
they
could
have a lot
migrate
of
your
work to do.
account over somehow, or maybe they give you something to migrate over, like a little bit of incentive.
Is this confirmed though? Like the
No,
new
no, 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 no,
generation?
no, no, no. But trust me, they're working on a new game. Like because it's not just Evony, right? It's Top Games. They have lots of games. They're always working on other stuff.
I think they'll upgrade the game and upgrade the interface, and like they've been doing with the generals and the interfaces, they keep changing them slowly. I think they're definitely gonna do that. But as far as changes, the game is still missing a lot. Like they haven't added anything to the Forge since 33. They haven't added any new research for the, from 35 to 40 Academy has nothing. The art hall has nothing after 35. You just see
So
like
yeah,
another
so
level.
there's buildings that are useless, like you said. Like why would I ever make my Forge 34? Art Hall,
Yeah,
I'm now in a situation where I have to make it 38 to be able to build Arch of Triumph. But there's nothing else in it.
yeah.
I
There's
just have to
nothing
put
in
it to
it. Yeah,
38 for no
exactly.
reason. It's stupid.
Pasture is the same thing. At least Pasture, when you get to 36, you unlock some of the talents, and then
And
at 40, you
35, you
unlock
can use the All Star Dragons.
the specialties. Yeah,
Well, 30
exactly.
you to unlock Layden, or have you ever been in All Stars?
Two. Yeah. No. Yeah, two. Last one and this one.
But you did not get a dragon?
I did not.
Okay,
No,
so I think you need
I
Pasture
got
35 to
dominated by
open
the
the egg.
Abominator.
So, so why
Yeah,
didn't you
it's
get a dragon? I understand like things happen, but don't you just get to a point where it's like I'm gonna use every heal I have, every
I
dollar?
did. I healed over 3 times. My team never reinforced me once,
Yeah.
and we were against Bobinator, who
Okay.
had like K39, K40, but didn't have T15s. I don't know if he was 39 or 40. He had the his solo march was 3.5 or 4, and his rally capacity was 30 million. And with no reinforcements, nobody can withstand that. Like they cleared 4 or 5 billion players with one hit,
So how
and
many
nobody reinforced
like
me.
do you
I
remember
averaged
how many
over
points you
zero.
had and how many points out of advancing you were?
Oh yeah, I had 4,000, and I was like 6,000 from the next person who got in, or
Oh wow.
7,000.
What
The
okay, so
people who
another
won had
question
11 and above.
so another question to follow that up. If your team had won, would you have advanced?
If my team had won, would I have it? No. Our team came in last. We were
Yeah.
terrible.
But the winning team gets more advanced players, don't they?
How do you mean?
Like okay, so I'm not too familiar with this 4 on 4 team format, but in the because I missed the first 2 rounds streaming because COVID ended and I have to go back to work, so I can't stream during the weekdays. But in the previous rounds, when it was 2 teams, uh, the winning team got 10 extra slots to advance. Right?
Correct.
Their top
It's the
15
same.
players advance, and then the next 10 scores, which could also be from their team.
So it's the same in this one. It's I think 20, 15, 10, and 5, something like that. I'm
Yeah.
not really too sure. But overall 50. So the top 50 get into the next round.
Mm, yeah.
Overall. Besides like who's what.
Did you like the new format versus the old one?
I like the new format, but the team imbalance is crazy. Like the highest guy in our team was 6 billion, the next team had 11 billion, and the other one had 10 billion.
Yeah.
And the 6 billion guy didn't even get on the chat. He was playing by himself,
Really?
and he qualified, and he got into the finals too. Like he got all the way. He played by himself. The next biggest guy I think was 5.8 or 5.2, and overall like our team was terrible. That's all I have to say.
So when you get in All Stars,
Yeah.
how do you go about finding your line group? And like this is a thing where I mean, like Evony should just like send all these
One
people
of
to a
the-
new alliance and they can talk in there in game, but they don't do that. So how do you find your team?
So usually you just go to one of the like popular players, I guess you can say, that's on your team, or you just find the biggest guy. You hit him up with an email and just say, hey, can you invite me to the line group, or if you know if there's a line group, because they usually are the ones who set up the line groups. And that's how I usually get an invite. Last time I got lucky, and one of the guys I actually played against and we conquered their server, he reached out to me. He didn't forget it. So he reached out to me and he's like, you want to get on the line group? I'm like, yeah, please.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
I had another question for you. I kind of got distracted with my chat there. So people are saying you don't need 35 anymore for late in, so that's good. And so I remember my other question. So then you get in the line group, and is there like a hierarchy? Like someone is like this is how it's gonna go. How do you decide who sets all the rallies? That sort of stuff.
Usually the biggest guy, he leads the whole thing, and he's usually the one with the bigger keep and the better research, the bigger rally size.
Yeah, I wonder
And
how that would go on C1 though, because everybody has the big keep. Everybody's the same size.
Some guys have. I don't know how C1 goes. I never got into the All Stars in C1 actually. I think by the time I quit and came back and quit and came back, there were only 2 All Stars. The first one took like a year between the first and the second. And then it became like a semi-annual thing. When the first one came out, everybody was like, whoa, again? And then the fifth one came out like right after that, like, whoa, again? So now it's like every 3 months. And the answer is yeah, because everybody wants the dragon and the castles, and there's
you
too
need
many
it.
players.
Especially
Yeah.
now with the like I cannot get, I can't remember what it's called, the tower. I can't increase it without another dragon. Like I need 6
What
generals at
which
5.8 million.
Right,
And I have 4 dragons. I can move all the new gear around and put that on one guy and get him enough. But then I need 5 dragons on the other 5 generals.
That's another thing. Do you know that my dragons, I have like 1 level 8 and 3 level 7 or 4 level 7? Do you know that? Because it's just not enough materials to go around between new gear, feeding dragons, making sub armor sets. That's one of the advantages like you could have on an older server.
Yeah, so I was taught early on actually so there's this Alliance Ape on server 81, I think. They came from C2 with me, my age of people, and merged to C1 also. And one of the guys in their alliance told me, just max 1 dragon, get him to 10, and then don't feed any more dragons till you finish your sub gear. So I listened to that, and then I didn't feed any dragon for like a year and a half. And then I finished all my sub gear, and then I just started feeding all my dragons like crazy and maxed them all.
I got 5 subsets completed, and all my main generals, including the sea general, done. But I actually had to create a sea general for All Stars, because outside of that, I don't necessarily have to use siege. I always use ground, and it just decimates everything. I've never had to do a lot of siege bombs. So on this last All-Star,
but you could have sat those out, right? Like you could sit out the siege bomb. Like if you're one of the smaller players in the alliance, you might not. It might not be in your best interest to join that siege rally because you need those for defense, right?
The other reason, actually, yes, nobody has siege. Nobody has enough siege.
Like, especially on C3 or 4, I would think that and now the game's changed. People are just sending 25 million archer rallies. I don't think siege is happening anymore.
I've seen big time siege, like 30 million siege rally against a guy to clear his siege, and all they killed was 11 million. Siege only, because siege most of the time it would kill archers if you're like a medium-sized keep. This guy, I think he was 7 billion in size or 6 billion. So 30 million T11 siege killed 11 million of all his siege except his T13. T13 doesn't die with T11 siege for some reason.
Well, because they have the extra range. 13 and 14 have the larger range, so you have to attack with 13s then. But I think that's changed. Like now we're starting to see 25 million, 30 million archer rallies with people with 1700%, and they're just wiping out everything. So like people are like just skipping the siege phase.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So, do you have anything else you want to talk about? Like, this is getting a bit long, and we can carry on with some of these topics another time.
No. I guess we can just have another talk some other time and make it easier on the viewers.
Yeah, that's good. So we can wrap this up. So Shinigami server 371. Check out his YouTube channel. I have it up there. He's got lots of good stuff in there, lots of good instructional stuff. I always get questions all the time like, can you do this? Can you do this video? And I did them all already. So like sometimes I redo them. Right, but you are starting out a channel, so you're gonna have all that stuff that people want, especially on like C3 and 4. So perfect to have an up and coming channel for you guys to check out.
Yep.
So thanks for joining. And anything you want to say to the viewers?
Not really. I just want to say, like, this channel, I really made it to help my alliance because I ended up spending like 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours talking to every single person, teaching them how to do stuff. And a lot of the stuff, the questions they ask, they don't have guides anywhere that I could find and share with them. There are specific questions, like very basic things that are not talked about. And that's why I made the channel, and I noticed that a lot of people on the server heard about it and they found it useful. So I'll be making those like niche videos about like specific things. The next one I'm gonna make is about T11 and why do people actually use T11 to do a siege bomb. It's pretty simple. Everybody thinks there's like some genius behind it. It's really not. It's very simple, and I'm gonna go through it hopefully this weekend. I'm gonna make the video and put it up.
All right, looking forward to it. And so this is Genghis server 68. Thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. And this is Shinigami S371. Make sure to check out his channel. All right, so see you guys. And Shin, we can